In the last 100 years, ordinary people in the richest countries on Earth went to sleep thinking their money was completely safe and woke up completely broke the next morning. Their gold vanished. Their banks locked the doors. Their life savings turned into worthless paper. And the worst part? Some of the most powerful nations in history have already collapsed exactly the same way. And every single warning sign is flashing red again in 2025. Let's start with Germany, 1931. This wasn't some poor country. This was one of the most advanced economies in the world. People had millions safely deposited in big, respected banks. Then, in May 1931, Austria's largest bank collapsed. Panic spread across Europe like wildfire. By July, Germans were lining up for days outside their banks, begging to withdraw their own money. On July 13th, the government declared a nationwide bank holiday. Every single bank in Germany shut its doors. When they finally reopened weeks later, millions discovered their accounts had been frozen or completely wiped out. The Reichsmark lost 99% of its value. A wheelbarrow full of cash couldn't buy a loaf of bread. Middle-class families who had millions in savings became homeless beggars in less than 30 days. Now let's go to the United States, 1933, the richest country on Earth. On April 5, 1933, President Franklin Roosevelt signed Executive Order 6102. Overnight, it became illegal for American citizens to own physical gold. If you had gold coins or bars at home, you had to turn them in to the government within weeks, or face 10 years in prison and a huge fine. Americans were forced to sell their gold at the official price of $20.67 an ounce. Then, less than a year later, the government raised the official price to $35 an ounce, instantly making a 70% profit on gold they had just confiscated from their own people. That single move stole the equivalent of over $700 billion in today's money, completely legally from ordinary citizens straight into government hands. The United Kingdom, once the most powerful empire in history, was next. From 1967 to 1976, the British pound went through crisis after crisis. In November 1967, the government was forced to devalue the pound by 14% overnight. Behind closed doors, the Bank of England secretly shipped over 1,000 tons of physical gold to New York just to defend the currency. By 1976, Britain was so broke they had to go begging to the IMF for a bailout, the ultimate humiliation for a former superpower. Pension funds collapsed. Lifetime savings were destroyed. The pound lost over 60% of its purchasing power in less than 10 years. These stories aren't random. They follow the exact same pattern every single time. Massive, unpayable debt, loss of trust in the currency, bank runs, government restrictions, gold quietly moved or seized, total collapse. Comment Part 2. Right now if you want the rest of the story tomorrow. Hit subscribe and the bell because Part 2 drops in 24 hours and reveals exactly what's happening again in 2025. You already know how Germany, America, and Britain lost everything in the last century. But the story gets even darker because the exact same thing happened again in the 21st century. And the final chapter is being written right now in 2025. Let's go to Cyprus, 2013. This was a normal European Union country. People used euros, had iPhones, drove Mercedes. Then, one Friday night in March 2013, the government and the EU made a secret decision. When banks reopened on Monday, anyone with more than 100,000 euros in their account lost up to 47.5% of their money, instantly. They didn't ask. They didn't warn. They just took it. ATMs gave only 300 euros per day. Some gave 100. Businesses couldn't pay salaries. Old people couldn't buy medicine. One millionaire was filmed crying on live TV when he discovered his 7-figure account had been cut in half overnight. They called it a bail-in. The rest of the world called it theft. Then there's Venezuela, once the richest country in South America. In 2011, their central bank had 573 tons of gold, worth billions. By 2023, only 33 tons were left. Where did 540 tons disappear? Government officials loaded gold bars onto private jets at night, flew them to Turkey, the UAE, and Switzerland, sold them for cash, and vanished. Today, teachers earn $3 a month. Doctors flee the country on foot. People dig through garbage to eat. The bolivar is so worthless that people use it as toilet paper. Literally. These are not exceptions. They are the rule. Every single currency collapse in history followed the exact same 7 steps. Debt explodes to impossible levels. People lose trust in the currency. Silent bank runs begin. Governments freeze or seize accounts. Central banks quietly sell or move the nation's gold. Currency dies. A new system is forced on the people. And right now, in 2025, we are already deep into Step 5. Fact 1. U.S. national debt just crossed $36 trillion, more than the GDP of the entire planet. Fact 2. American banks lost over $620 billion in deposits in 2023 to 2024, the biggest bank run since 1933, and barely anyone noticed. Fact 3. China and India bought more gold in the last 18 months than all central banks combined in the previous 10 years. Fact 4. Switzerland, the world's biggest gold vault, is seeing record withdrawals as countries quietly pull their gold home. Fact 5. BRICS nations are finalizing a new gold-backed trade currency set to launch in 2025. Fact 6. Central bank digital currencies are being rolled out worldwide, giving governments the power to freeze your money with one click. This is not a prediction. This is the exact same playbook, on steroids. History doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. And right now, the rhyme is getting louder every single day. So here's the only question that matters. When the music stops, will you be the one left standing without a chair? Or will you be the one who saw the pattern early and moved to gold while there was still time? Comment, 2025 is here, if you finally see it. Smash the subscribe button and turn on the bell, because the next video drops the exact month most experts now agree everything changes forever.
Imagine waking up tomorrow and your bank account shows 0. Your ATM card is declined. Police are standing outside every branch. Your gold is now illegal to own. This is not a dystopian movie. This has already happened in Germany, America, Britain, Cyprus, Venezuela, and the exact same warning signs are screaming at us again in 2025. Germany, 1931. One of the most advanced nations on Earth. In July 1931, every single bank in Germany suddenly closed its doors for weeks. People begged on the streets for their own money. When banks reopened, millions discovered their life savings were frozen or gone. The Reichsmark became worthless paper overnight. Middle-class families who had millions became beggars in less than 30 days. United States, 1933. President Roosevelt signed Executive Order 6102. Owning gold became a federal crime. Americans had to surrender every gold coin and bar at $20.67 an ounce or face 10 years in prison. Then the government immediately raised the price to $35, stealing a 70% profit on gold taken from its own citizens. That's over $700 billion in today's money, legally confiscated. United Kingdom, 1967 to 1976. The pound crashed repeatedly. The Bank of England secretly shipped over 1,000 tons of Britain's gold reserves to New York. By 1976, Britain had to beg the IMF for a bailout, the ultimate humiliation for a former empire. Pensions collapsed. Lifetime savings evaporated. Cyprus, 2013. One weekend, the EU and government decided anyone with over 100,000 euros loses up to 47.5% instantly. They stole the money while people slept. ATMs limited to 300 euros a day. A millionaire cried on live TV when he saw his account cut in half. Venezuela, 2011 to 2023. 573 tons of gold in the central bank. Now, only 33 tons remain. Officials loaded gold bars onto private jets at night, flew them to Turkey and the UAE, and disappeared. Today, teachers earn $3 a month and people eat from garbage. This is the exact 7-step playbook every single time. Debt becomes impossible to repay. Trust in the currency cracks. Silent bank runs begin. Governments freeze or seize accounts. Gold reserves quietly vanish. Currency dies. A new digital control system is forced on everyone. And right now, in 2025, we are already deep into Step 5. U.S. debt just crossed $36 trillion, more than the entire world economy. Banks lost over $620 billion in deposits in 2023 to 2024, the biggest run since 1933. China and India bought more gold in 18 months than the last decade combined. Switzerland is seeing record gold withdrawals by foreign governments. BRICS nations launch their gold-backed trade currency in 2025. Central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, are being rolled out worldwide, giving governments the power to freeze your money with one click. History doesn't repeat, but it rhymes perfectly. Every single time before a collapse, the experts said, "It can't happen here. This time is different." And every single time, they were dead wrong. So here's the only question that matters today. When the next one hits, and it is coming, will you be the one crying outside a closed bank, or the one who moved to gold while there was still time? Comment "Gold 2025" right now if you finally see the pattern. Smash subscribe and turn on the bell. The next video drops the exact month most experts now agree everything changes forever. You've been warned.